Hey Bens, and welcome to episode 2 of the Superhero Dog Owners Show. This is the show that helps you have more fun and less stress with your pet dog. So I'm joined today by another very special guest.
It's me. No, it's not.
Two very special guests. I've got Alex the video guy here as always, who helps us set up the podcast in a van. This is the first podcast in a van, as far as we're aware.
So we believe.
Yeah, so we believe. And we're also joined by today, this is Zero, the Boston Terrier. Zero is a very good friend of mine. He's been a regular on our adventures for about 3 years now. And he's a super cool little guy. He's less fiddly than Stewie. He's also lighter than Stewie, so my arm won't be hurting quite as much as it was last week. So today we're going to be talking about the Kryptonite. Yeah, Alex, do you know what the Kryptonite is?
I do know what the Kryptonite is now. Yes. It's the thing that gets your dog's tail wagging.
It is indeed, yeah. The Kryptonite, finding the Kryptonite is very important because it's finding the thing that makes your dog's tail wag, yeah? The thing that gets your dog excited, that turns him from a sleepy hound into a fun-loving dog. And the Kryptonite, in my opinion, finding the Kryptonite is the easiest way for you to influence and control and play and train your dog. Really, it's for pet dog owners who, they don't want to learn how to be a dog whisperer, or they don't want to go to college and learn how to have a degree in canine psychology. Yeah, we don't need to do all those things just to have a fairly well-behaved dog who comes back to us in the park and isn't, a complete pain in the butt. Yeah, we can do all those things by just finding out what our dog's like, and then we can use those things to help us to control the dog and get our dog looking at us and doing what we want him to do. So, Alex, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this shirt today.
Yes, I am. It's not your usual uniform.
It's not my usual garb. You're quite right. No. But there's an important message here. We got the red and whites of Sunderland. Obviously, the podcast is shot in Sunderland. This is where we live. I'm very proud of my hometown, my home city. And Zero, even though he's a black and white, yeah, he is also a Sunderland lad. Black and white by colour, but not by nature, I assure you. So this is a little football analogy that I've got for you now. And this is a thing about the Kryptonite. So I like football. I quite like watching football. We have season tickets, me and Toby, and we go to the match every week. But obviously I don't like just any football, okay? So if, Alex, for example, you came to me and you said, Dom, I've got you an awesome football gift. There's two season tickets in the box at St James's Park to go and see Newcastle United every week. Not going to be the kind of thing that I'm going to be very interested in. Because even though I like football, obviously I'm not a huge Newcastle fan, is putting it as a bit of an understatement. Yeah, I'm a Sunderland fan. I want to go and see Sunderland play, yeah? And so going to see Sunderland play, especially at Wembley or somewhere like that, which wouldn't happen very often, but something like that, that's going to be Kryptonite for me, yeah? Going to see my hometown, who I love, that's my Kryptonite, that's the type of thing that I want to do, that's the thing that I'm prepared to spend money on, it's the thing that I'm prepared to give up time to go and do, and make time to go and do, yeah, because it's God knows why, but it's a very rewarding thing to me to go and spend some time with my son watching my hometown team play football every week.
So if I wanted to influence you, Dom, or I had a favour to ask or something like that, then you would say the best way for me to win over you would be to get you the thing that you liked, to let you have the thing that you liked.
Exactly. And obviously I don't just like football, I like pizza and red wine and chocolate and, various other things as well. And yeah, if you certainly, one way to influence me would be to provide me with the things that I quite like and use those things to get me to do whatever you wanted me to do, without a doubt, yeah. And that's a very similar thing. In fact, it's exactly the same as what we do when we're trying to find the Kryptonite that we need to help us to influence our dog and to get our dog, wanting to do stuff for us so that they can get the things that they find rewarding.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little story that quite neatly demonstrates what I'm talking about with the Kryptonite. And this is something that happened to us a couple of years ago when we were out on a dog adventure, and it involved a pug and a feather. And this isn't a rude joke, so don't start thinking that. But what it is, Zero's brother Stewie, who was a guest on the show last week, he plays a key part in this story. And what happened was, it was a really hot summer, and with that obviously came the problem of me trying to keep the dogs cool on the adventure, because we like to keep them nice and safe and nice and cool. And I found a nice lake where we used to go, and I set myself a little challenge of getting all the dogs in the water and getting them swimming, because not all of the dogs like swimming, but I thought it would be good to, for their own safety, if they knew they could at least learn how to swim to the shore. So we had the dogs in the water. We were having a great time, and one day on an adventure we had Stewie and Zero out, and there had been at the side of the lake what can only be described as a swan massacre. Yeah, obviously a fox or something had got to one of the swans the day before, and there was blood and guts and various feathers strewn all over the side of the river. And Stewie, being a pug, was much more interested in the feathers and the guts than he was in spending time with us learning how to swim. So, and Stewie's not a big swimmer anyway, not many pugs are, but and he kept going back to where the feathers were, and I was keep leading him away. Stewie, come on, Stewie, come back. And eventually it was starting to get on my nerves a little bit, obviously, because I wanted to get on with the walk. So I went to go to put him on lead, and that was when the penny dropped. And what popped into my head was something that my good friend David Davies always says, is that you need to find something that is rewarding for the dog at that time. And so I thought, well, if Stewie's really interested in the feathers, he'd been picking them up, could I use a feather to get him to be more interested in me? So I found the biggest feather that you could find, and I waved it in front of Stewie, and sure enough, Stewie started to walk towards me. He started to follow me and leave all the rest of the feathers and come towards me. And I backed away, and Stewie followed me, and then I thought, I wonder what I can make this pug do for this feather. So I started to step into the water, and sure enough, Stewie came in as well, and I got a little bit deeper, went up to my ankles and then, up to my knees. But Stewie kept on following me, and when he lost interest, I just waved the feather in his face a little bit. And eventually, I stepped back a little bit further, and sure enough, Stewie pushed off the side, and Stewie the pug started to swim through the lake, just following me to get the feather, of which I let him have a little sniff and a little nibble of every now and again as a reward. And I call that story the magic feather for the obvious reasons, but it just goes to show that if you can find something that your dog really, really likes, even though it may not be what you could describe as a traditional dog toy, then you can get your dog to do things for you. Like, if I can get Stewie to swim in a lake when he don't like swimming, then I'm sure you could get your dog to do a sit or a down, or to stop barking, or to stop pulling on the lead, using something that your dog particularly likes playing with. So there's a little challenge for you for this week. I would like you to kind of mentally walk a day in your dog's paws and think about all of the things that get your dog excited, get your dog, get him up and about and wagging his tail and make his eyes go wide. And, what are the things that he picks up in the house that I said also, they may not be things that are traditional dog toys. Could be socks, slippers, plastic bottles, bits of pipe, whatever, tea towels. Yeah, these are the type of things that you can use as kryptonite to get your dog to look at you and to start doing what you want him to do. So that was a little bit of an unorthodox dog training lesson, Alex, but that's the kind of thing that we like to do on this show.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever works.
Whatever works indeed, yeah, and that's what it's all about. We don't want, you may want to go to Crufts and compete in obedience, yeah, and if you do, then this probably isn't the podcast for you. But if you just want to enjoy taking your dog to the park and not have him run off and, be tearing your hair out and be, racked with worry and dry mouth panic about your dog not coming back to you, then you should definitely try finding out what it is that is your dog's kryptonite, and then you can use that to play, influence, bond, control, and just generally get your dog looking at you. Make sure that you're rewarding him with this kryptonite as well. But that's today's dog training lesson, dog training tip. I want you to go out and I want you to find your dog's kryptonite. I have a full chapter of my book is dedicated to helping you find your dog's kryptonite. I break it down into much more detail. So if you want a much more fast-track way to find out what it is that your dog likes, then you should go to www.mydogsuperhero.com and you should purchase the book, because that's going to help you to have more fun and have a better relationship with your dog. So I think that's I think that quite nicely wraps up this week's episode.
I think so.
I want to thank Zero for being a perfect guest.
He's had a good adventure today.
He has, hasn't he? Yeah, we've worn him out thoroughly before the podcast, thank goodness.
Definitely.
So from the black and white, from the red and white, and from Alex the Video Guy, that's goodbye from us. Please don't forget to subscribe to the show, and if you would like a dog training tip to come flying into your inbox once a day, then you should go to www.mydogsuperhero.com/dog days, and you can sign up to my free and famous daily dog training emails. They will help you have more fun and just generally enjoy your dog a bit more. And that's why we all got a doggy. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have a question about, the kryptonite, or about your dog being selfish, or about anything about your dog's behaviour, then you need to ask it of us so that we can answer it in the show. Yeah, we want to make this interactive. I have a lot of a good crack with my people who are subscribed to my daily emails, and the people who buy the book. They're always getting in touch with me and telling me stuff, and we go back and forth, and I want the podcast to be exactly the same as well. So you should watch the next video, because that is going to show you how you can be a star of this podcast too, and your dog can as well. And it will tell you exactly how. I want you to send us the questions so that we can answer them in the show and help you have more fun with your dog. So you want to take out your smartphone, take it to video. Make sure the video is pointing at you. Then get it arm's length away so it's facing straight at you. Make sure the sun or the light is in front of you, not behind you. Make sure you're somewhere reasonably quiet, and then just speak into the phone and tell me the problem that you're having with your dog. And we'll do our best to answer that on the show. Because you can bet your butt that if you're asking one question, that somebody else, another dog owner, is going to be suffering from the same problem as well. We want to help as many dog owners as we can. So I look forward to seeing your questions, and you can email them to me at dom@packleaderdogadventures.co.uk, or you can post them on the Facebook page, which is Pack Leader Dog Adventures on Facebook. And I'll see you then. Okay, thanks, Dom. Yeah, we're back in the studio again. So that's what you need to do if you would like us to feature you in an episode of the podcast. Yeah, we want to help more people with their dogs, so please send us a question. Make sure your dog is in it as well. We love dogs. We want to see more dogs in the show. So that's it for this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a review on iTunes as well. And in next week's episode, I'm going to be setting a challenge of Alex the Video Guy. Alex, tell us about the dog that you look after.
So, as I said in an earlier episode, me and my partner Naomi are part-time dog owners, because we sometimes look after little Otis the Jack Russell. So we get him on weekends and that kind of thing. And I think it's probably about time that I see if I can put everything that Dom's saying into practice, and see if we can get him a bit more interested in me, and a bit more, I don't know, looking at me like I'm a superhero.
I'm sure you can do it. So that's going to be next week's episode. Alex is going to head out with Otis. We'll see how he gets on. I have complete faith in him. If he's any good, if he's as good with the dog as he is with the videos, we'll be laughing. So I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week. And if we don't see you through the week, then we'll see you through the window. Bye for now.